Hey, it's Rachel. I'm going to do another video where you guys can learn from my screw ups. And this one is going to be about hardening off plants. So you do want to harden off your transplants before you set them outside. And there's three big things you're trying to do here. One of them is to get the plants used to temperature variations. The other, if your plants have been growing in a very still air environment, is to get them used to the effects of wind and strengthen up the stems a bit. I do use an oscillating fan in my own growing area, and I recommend that you do the same. But if you haven't been doing that, the breeze is also going to help toughen the plants. The main thing, though, is giving them gradual exposure to sun. So the brightest grow lights in the world do not compare to the sun in terms of the amount of just pure energy hitting the leaf. And so if you were to take your transplants and set them out, even if they were used to the temperature, even if they were used to the wind, they will get sunburned. Their leaves will scald. And so what you want to do is to put them out for a little bit of time, bring them back inside, repeat for more and more time until the plants are hardened off. I always start this on a cloudy day. So I like to put them out on a day when it's potentially raining, heavily overcast. It means that they get a very diffuse amount of light. And so I like to start with that. And I'll do a few hours of diffuse light, and then I will gradually start giving them exposure to full sun. The reason I'm filming this is because of what can happen, and it happened to me, which is when I had those tomato transplants that survived the vacation disaster, I was like, all right, these ones made it. Time to give them a little bit of extra love, a little bit of extra sun energy. It was a nice, super overcast day, so I set them outside, and sure enough, as soon as I went to go clean my bathroom or do laundry or whatever I was doing that weekend, the sun came out. And they were exposed to full sunshine for probably 2 straight hours. So don't believe the forecast, and I'm going to show you in a second what that did to these plants. And this is what it looks like when you screw up your hardening off process. You can see these leaves are sunburned. Luckily, this guy survived. In fact, I'm going to do a video soon on my most resilient ones here, but shout out to Pink Bumblebee. Let me look. This is a Roma tomato. Really not looking good. It survived the initial vacation disaster, and this did it in. This squash is another good example. In fact, it's a perfect example. Let me show this. This leaf here cast some shade on the leaf below, and so pulling that aside, you can see the part that was exposed to the sun has that silvery damage, and the part that was protected does not, which is helping this one not be completely screwed versus some of these other ones that didn't have that kind of overlapping leaf structure, got hit a lot harder. You know, these guys only have two leaves, and so there was no extra shade, so all of my squash and watermelons got fried. I've already started replacements for a bunch of these, but yeah, there you go. This so you guys can learn from my mistakes. Don't do this to perfectly nice plants. And the same thing happened today. So this was supposed to be overcast all day. It's a beautiful day instead, which is nice in some respects, but as you can see, full sun. The difference is this time I got smarter. And when I put the plants out, I stuck them under this umbrella to make sure that if the sun did come back out, they would only receive filtered light. And now that this has happened, I am going to take them inside, because even under the umbrella, this is a little more direct light than I intended for them to get today. Moral of the story, don't believe the weather forecast. I am proud that I put them under an umbrella this time. I would suggest that you do the same. Figure out some shading mechanism that you can put near them such that if the sun does break out and you aren't actively around to see it happen, they won't get completely fried. The other alternative would be to only do this on a day that you're going to be outdoors. And so as soon as the sun comes out, you will see it and you can rectify the situation. But if you're not in that, if you're like me and you're multitasking, just think about some kind of shading device as extra insurance, so you don't have to replace as many transplants as I now have to replace. Whatever, it'll be a staggered harvest. Staggered harvests are good. I'm just gonna look on the bright side on this one, all right? Hopefully you guys will learn from this and benefit and not have to go through the same thing. That's it. Thanks.